the example she wanted me to be. I was 6 when my parents' marriage fell apart. At that age, divorce is more of a shift in routine than a life-shattering event, at least at first. One day I was coloring in the living room, and the next, I was handed a small pink suitcase and told I'd be spending a few nights at Dad's place. I wasn't scared, just confused. I didn't know that this would be the beginning of a lifetime split between 2 households, and eventually 2 different versions of myself. Back then, no one really explained things. My mom cried a lot. My dad seemed tired but calm. My siblings, both younger than me, just followed along. And somehow, I ended up caught in the middle of something far too big for a child to understand. As I grew older, I started to pick up on things my mom said when she was stressed or angry. Comments she probably didn't think twice about, but they stuck with me. Like how I never appreciated what she did, or how I was always running to Daddy when things got tough. She didn't need to say it outright. I could feel it in the way she looked at me sometimes. It was like I reminded her of him too much. Eventually, I understood. She blamed me for how things turned out. Maybe not consciously, but emotionally. In her mind, I had always taken his side. After the divorce, my parents shared custody equally, 50-50. My siblings and I packed up and moved between homes like clockwork. At Dad's place, things were relaxed. We had structure, but he didn't hover. He let us be kids, let us breathe. With Mom, it was different. There was tension in the walls, like the house itself hadn't forgiven us for something we didn't do. When I was 11, she remarried. Mark, my stepdad, had 2 kids of his own, and overnight we were supposed to become this happy blended family of 7. My mom seemed excited, hopeful even. But instead of easing us into this new life, she and Mark came up with a list of rules, strict, awkward, and invasive. We weren't allowed to ask our own parent for permission anymore. If I wanted to go out with a friend, I had to ask Mark, not my mom. His kids had to do the same with her. We're one family now, they kept saying, as if that made it true. Our bedroom doors had to stay open at all times, for transparency. Privacy didn't exist anymore, and every morning and night we were required to give both parents hugs, not just encouraged, required. No matter how we were feeling, no matter what just happened. Even after arguments, it felt like living in a staged performance. Everything had to look like a happy family from the outside, even when it was anything but. The truth? We never bonded. Not with Mark, not with his kids. We were polite, sometimes. Distant, mostly. And beneath the surface, resentment simmered. We fought constantly, over space, chores, TV time, the unspoken competition for our parents' attention. Mom tried to plaster over it with toxic positivity. There's no favoritism in this house, like she'd say. You're all siblings now. But the truth was, we weren't. We weren't even friends. We were just strangers forced to play nice under the same roof. My siblings and I clung to any escape we could find. Our time with Dad became sacred. We planned around it like it was vacation. We'd pack days in advance, map out movie marathons, hikes, or just lazy weekends doing nothing at all. Anything to avoid the tension waiting for us at Mom's house. And while we tried to keep the peace, deep down we were counting the days until we didn't have to go back. As time passed, I became old enough to choose where I wanted to live. And I chose Dad. Full-time. Not because he was perfect, but because with him, I didn't have to be anyone other than myself. I wasn't blamed. I wasn't micromanaged. I was just me. That decision created distance between Mom and me. Not just physical, but emotional. We spoke. Sure, on holidays, birthdays. Sometimes she'd call out of the blue, hoping to catch me in a good mood. I kept things polite, respectful. But the closeness we might have had was long gone. Then, not long ago, she called me again. It was unexpected. Her voice on the other end sounded tired, and not just in the usual way. There was something worn down. Your brother and sister, she said. They don't want to stay with me anymore. I don't know what's going on. They're always avoiding visits. They make excuses. They say they're busy with school or work or whatever. I stayed quiet, sensing where this was going. I want us to be a family again, she continued. I know it hasn't been easy, but I really tried. And I think maybe you can help. And then she said it. You're the oldest. You should be setting an example. Something in me snapped, not in an angry way, but in that quiet, final way when a boundary has been crossed too many times. I took a deep breath and said what I'd been holding back for years. I don't consider us a family. She went silent. I could hear her breathing shift. Shallow, stunned. Maybe hurt. I didn't say it to wound her. I said it because it was the truth. I explained that I didn't hate her. I didn't blame her. But the life she created, the version of family she forced on us, it never felt real. We were never given a chance to grow naturally into those roles. We were assigned them, like characters in a play, with no room to improvise. We followed the rules, I told her. We did the hugs. We kept our doors open. We asked permission from people we barely knew, and it didn't bring us closer. It pushed us apart. I could feel her disbelief on the other end, but I kept going. I spent years trying to be the glue, trying to smooth things over for my siblings, keep the peace, keep you happy. I thought maybe if I just tried hard enough, we'd become what you wanted us to be. I paused. But it almost broke me. Maybe she expected me to come in and fix things, to talk to my siblings, encourage more visits, help her rebuild the dream she always wanted. But I'm not that little girl with the pink suitcase anymore. I've grown, and with growth came understanding that peace can't exist where pretending is required. I told her that I wished her the best, that I hoped she'd find healing. But I wasn't going to lie to myself or to her just to keep up appearances. We ended the call quietly, and after I hung up, I didn't cry. I didn't feel angry, I just felt relieved. Like I had finally let go of a weight I didn't even know I was still carrying. People often talk about family like it's a sacred, unbreakable bond. But I've learned that family isn't made by blood or marriage or rules. It's made through trust, through honesty, through choice. And when someone chooses control over connection, rules over relationships, what you end up with isn't family. It's just a contract you never agreed to. I may not have the picture-perfect family she dreamed of, but I have peace, I have honesty, and most importantly, I have me. And that's enough.